Hi, everyone. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Cindy McInnes. Been working with John for many, many years with whales and teaching and that sort of thing. And I was chatting with him the other day, and he told me about this class that he was taking, that he was teaching. And we got to talking, and we kind of started throwing around some ideas. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about this idea I had for a potential project. I think, first of all, I have this life-size inflatable whale that I take into schools, and I teach kids about the environment and what we can do to help protect whales, after talking to them about whales and humpbacks, especially because that's what my experience has been with, mostly off the coast of Massachusetts. As I got to thinking about it, I'm working on this side project called the Year of the Right Whale. And I wanted to share that with you a little bit to see if we couldn't come up with a project to do together. So I'm co-coordinating this with Jen Kennedy from Blue Ocean Society. And really the purpose of the Year of the Right Whale, it was actually Year of the Right Whale 2020. And obviously because of COVID, we've kind of bumped things. And so now we're reevaluating a little bit what we're trying to do. The main mission is to protect the North Atlantic right whale through celebration, education, and action. And the education piece of it is something that I'm wondering about, if we can figure out a collaboration. So just to tell you a little bit about right whales, in case you don't know much about them, they are almost the size of a school bus, the length of a school bus, I should say, much heavier than that. They feed on teeny tiny little things called copepods. So these are like a millimeter, 2 millimeters. When they're really abundant in the water actually turns red. So that reddish in this picture is actually copepods. And then the other little things are all little comb jellies. So they have these enormous mouths that they filter these small copepods out of the water with. They're found from Canada down to Florida, basically. So usually in the spring, they're around the Gulf of Maine, around Massachusetts. We've had actually almost half of the population in Cape Cod Bay and the surrounding Massachusetts waters at points of time in the spring. Sometimes in the summer, they're found up in the Gulf of St. Lawrence now. That's kind of been in the last probably 10 years. Before that, they were often in the Bay of Fundy, between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. In the winter, though, they head down to you in Georgia. They're off the coast of Georgia and Florida. You can see that orange in the map there. That is the wintering location of them. And this is actually real-time data that's available online on this website called Whale Map. So this I just kind of punched in the last 3 weeks of sightings. You can see the map. The green spots are definite right whale locations. The red spots are where they've heard them on a listening device. So it could be a buoy that's in the water. There's blue lines up in the top up here by Boston, if you see that. These are so cool. They're these gliders that they put in the water, and they look like an airplane, but they just go on a programmed path for a month or two at a time. The scientists deploy them, and then they go out there and they listen to detect right whales acoustically. And then they could be picked up. The gray here south of Cape Cod up in the top, or the kind of beigeish gold color, those are track lines for airplanes. But you can see that there have been a lot of right whale sightings in the last 3 weeks out here. This is just a close in off the coast of Georgia. You can see where all these green dots are right whale detections in the last couple of weeks. So it's a really cool website if you're interested in looking at anything like that. There's right whales, humpbacks, fin whales, all kinds of different species available on there. But when they're off the coast of Georgia, they're down there having their calves. So not the entire population goes down there. It's really the moms that are giving birth. So the reason that we decided to do the Year of the Right Whale as opposed to other species is because they are critically endangered. So our population estimates are about 360 individuals right now. We've lost about 200 of them in the last 20 years. In the last 4 years, that number has been particularly high. There's a hopeful side of this. In the last month, there have been 14 new calves born this year. To give you an idea, last year there were 10 calves. So in 2020, there were 10 calves. In 2018, though, there were no calves born. And so 14 is a really high number. And so that's obviously a really positive thing for the population. A study came out recently, well, 2 years ago, that looked at the cause of death. So the known causes of death. So when an animal dies, a team of scientists will go and they'll do what's called a necropsy, where they cut the animal open and they run tests to try to figure out what happened. So of the whales where they could identify a cause of death, 90% of them are from humans. The two biggies, I mean, the two big reasons why animals are dying is because they get entangled in fishing gear and because they get hit by boats. So this whale on the top has rope through its mouth and towing behind it. And it looks like a buoy or something in the water back behind it. This whale on the bottom, you can see those white gashes are where a ship's propeller has gone it. And obviously the bigger, the faster the boat is going, the more damage it's going to do to the animal. So humans are their greatest threat, but we are also their only hope. One of my role models is Jane Goodall, and she has a book called The Reasons for Hope. And in there, or I guess now more, she talks about these 4 reasons, right? The energy of youth, the power of the human brain, the resilience of nature, and the power of social media. So I think, and one of the things that we want to do with the Year of the Right Whale is pose this question to kids. Can they help solve this? I mean, if we can reduce the number of vessel strikes and reduce the entanglement in fishing gear, we are going to help this population of whales recover, because they're able to have calves. They have 14 calves this year, up from 0 3 years ago. There are breeding females still. We can't wait until we get down to 10 breeding females in the population. We need to take action now. And so one of the things that we had thought is partnering with you to see if we can't do something with students, either an engineering class or computer science class. I mean, really, it could be a lot of different things, but to pose this question to them: can they help solve the issue of entanglement in fishing gear and ship strikes? And obviously we can provide support material and that sort of thing. But that's what the issue is for right whales, and that's what we need help in solving. And so part of our mission is to reach out and help get educators involved with doing some projects. So I would look forward to talking to you. Thanks.